All right, thank you. Hi, everybody. Oh, hello, everybody. Can just doing a little test. Can you all hear me? So if you could put in the, oh, good. Okay. Thank you, Catherine. Appreciate that. So hello to everyone. We've got a nice crowd here tonight. Yeah, we've got about, um, it's a less than we had last week, which is a little tough. There was a lot here. So I'm really glad that you're all here. For those of you who are listening on Periscope, this is a live kind of a Q&A for asking questions of myself. I am a clairvoyant, and so people come on to ask me questions. So, Monica, hi, nice to see you. And it looks like we have some other people who I know. Hi, Beverly and Arissa, and a few people on callers, and Candace and Catherine and Kathy, Marcia. Let's see, I missed a whole bunch in there. It went flying by so fast. I'm doing this again alone tonight, so I hope that everybody can just be patient with me again as I move through. So why don't you, I'm going to have you just start typing questions. That actually worked very well to type questions last time, and then we'll do that again where we have people on. I don't seem to be hearing anything. I am wondering, can somebody who is on the phone, can somebody get off of mute and just say something so I know whether I can hear you? Interesting. Okay, I can't hear anyone. So, let me try to one here. Oh, it's in listen only mode. Give me a moment. Let me do an interaction. That's why I'm not hearing anything. Give me just a moment, everyone, and I'm just going to so that I can allow people to get on and chat, but I can't seem how to do that. Let me try webinar options.
All
Okay.
attendees are muted and may unmute themselves by pressing *6.
Okay, so callers, you can unmute yourself by hitting *6 when the time comes. So on your phones, you hit *6, but make sure that you're muted in between there. And the way that you mute yourself again is hit *6 again. So, so it looks like everyone is muted right now. That's fabulous. And as you know, I always, whoops, somebody's not muted. I can hear somebody. Let me just go through and see who we have. There we go. We got a caller here. I'm just going to mute them. Okay. So we always start with just a little conversation. I do have an announcement to make. And I think for those of you who were here last week, what I talked about is this amazing transformation that I went through. And I happened to have one of my beautiful clients contact me and say, you know what, Kelly, I think what you went through is what Wayne Dyer has in his video called The Shift. And I watched it, and he talked about a quantum shift in there, that there's often something very difficult that precipitates this shift, and that difficult experience, and not necessarily difficult, so I've had it where it hasn't been, but this is my fourth shift. So this last one was a little difficult, and it really transforms you into something completely different if you allow it to. If you don't get stuck in a story about what happened, if you don't get stuck in the negativity, if you take your time to really look inside of you and ask, what is this about? Why is this experience coming in, and how can I shift? I went away camping in the woods for 4 days and just sat in with my heart and listened into what I needed to shift into. And once it happened, it was amazing. So my announcement for those of you who know me is this: I have left my heal center, the one that I created, and I left it in some very good hands. And I have started my own healing practice called Monarch Healing. And so I have a new email address. I'll put it down on the bottom for anyone who didn't get my emails yet. I'm only on the days for my clients and friends. So if you didn't get your email about this yet, it is coming tomorrow. But for right now, let me put this in here. This is my new email address, Kelly, Kelly, Monarch, like the butterfly, 11 at gmail.com. And this is really going slow. Let's see. Boy, I don't seem to be able to type well here, so I may not be able to do some typing, but I'm going to try. I'm getting there. Okay, this is the last time I'm trying to type tonight. Okay. So there's my new email address. My phone number is the same. So if you wanted a session with me, I actually took all my prices, moved them down to a rate that I feel comfortable with. I am listening. I'm going to be finishing up my book, and I'm going to be on a syndicated radio show. So that's going to come up and start to be filmed at the end of the month. So that's very exciting. So let me just tell a little bit more about this shift. This experience that we're going through right now is because of the blood moon or the super moon and a lot of what's happening with our alignment with the energies. And so, I'm sorry, it's supposed to be Monarch 11. So yes, that email, please. It's Kelly Monarch 11. It just doesn't seem to go through with 2 1s. All right. So with this shift, there's a big planetary alignment. And I'm not much into astrology, but I understand it. My guides talk a lot about it. So with this alignment that's coming up, we have the 23rd of September through the 28th is going to be a huge shift for people. So what I really encourage you to do is understand that if you're going through this, don't get stuck in what's happening. Don't get stuck in where you're at. Don't get stuck in a story, or he said this, she said this, or you did this and you behaved like this. Don't get into that. Whatever is going on in your life, should this come up for you on the 23rd through the 28th of this month, really look inside. Really look into who you are, what you're about, and why a shift will be coming for you. So I just wanted to share that before we got started, and so much good stuff happening in this world if you let it. So one other thing I want to talk about before we start the question and answer is something that one of my clients was working on today, and an absolutely beautiful being. And what we ended up talking about is why she couldn't bring in money right now. And it was so interesting what her guides had to say. They said, okay, I'll call her Susan. Susan, you need to go to age 13. You need to go to age 13 because age 13 for you is why you feel you can't bring in. What was it? She said she had a fear of not having enough. And so they said, you go to age 13. What were you like? And she started to describe this woman this girl who was putting on a show for everyone because she wanted to make sure everyone liked her. And she felt really awkward and really uncomfortable in her own skin. And so she went and she really started to become a performer, hiding who she really was. And when we went back and we looked at why that was there, all of a sudden there's a realization that there was so much uncomfortableness in who she was, or feeling undervalued, or feeling like she wasn't worth anything. So she masked herself with someone she thought she should be. I had her go in and look at that absolutely amazing 13-year-old. And when she did, she was able to see, who is this girl? And she said, she's beautiful. She's shy and she's warm and she's loving and she is wise and you know what? She's really sensitive, super sensitive. I said, is she empathic? And she said, yes, she is. And which means that you can sense what other people feel. And so she became so sensitive that she thought she wasn't a good person. And when she let go of being the performer inside of her and inside of her 13-year-old, when they both let go of that performer, Suddenly, she was in a place of peace, and she had this amazing Buddha come in, a vision of a Buddha come in, and she realized that that's who she really was inside. And I can tell you that is who this woman is. And here's what my guides have always said about not being your most authentic self. When you're not your most authentic self, people are naturally put off by you. That you may be the best performer in the world. You may be amazing at being funny or being something or being strong or whatever it is you think that you need to be, but it doesn't work. Somehow people know it's not authentic. So if you want to be truly loved for who you are, all you have to do is show up for who you are, exactly who you are, as a soul, as a being, and really search inside. And when you find that, you're going to be amazed at the responses that you get from people. So anyway, let's move on to some questions. I hope that helps some of you. Oh, quite a few more people joining us. Fabulous. So for some questions here. All right, so this is for Catherine. She said, I'm starting a new business. Will it be successful? When will it really take off? So give me just a second. I want to tap into your energies. Okay, this makes a lot of sense. They're saying, and this is so perfect. It's going to seem so vague, but it is exactly what it is for you. There are parts of you that can be really confident, but parts of you that can be really destructive. And so there are those pieces of you that, and there are parts of you that can be really positive, Catherine. Right? You can feel that, but then again, there are parts of you that can be really destructive internally, and sometimes externally. And so what they're saying is that it's all up to you. So I'm going to share with you guys a little bit about this. And I want you to understand that in front of us, and I think I mentioned this last time, but this is really important. In front of us at all times, we always have two possibilities. We have positive possibilities, and then we have negative possibilities. And both exist simultaneously. Now, we have two little vortexes we can get into. We can get into the vortex of positivity, or we can get into the vortex of negativity. We get into the vortex of negativity by worrying, by projecting into the future. What if this doesn't happen? What if I can't pay my bills? What if my business doesn't work? What if somebody does this? What if that happens? Or we can go into the negativity of the past, which is, oh, in the past, this didn't work for me, or this wasn't good, or I'm not good enough. Or we can go into the negativity of right now, getting into the fear pool. This has got to work. This has got to work. Oh my God, what if this doesn't work? Things are really hard for me. I have to work really hard. The other ways that we get into negativity are we start to plan and 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 plan to nauseam. And what happens when we do that, when we plan and overplan, you need to do a little planning. Of course, we're not just sitting around eating bonbons waiting for everything to manifest, but we are getting into not over planning, so that what happens is that the universe can then say, oh, you're open to what we want to give you, and they always want to give you more than what you ask for. So stay out of the negative vortex by staying out of all that chatter and all that thinking and all that worry and all that fear and all that projection. Now, you want to have everything good for you? Go. You can have relationships that are amazing for you. You can have work that's good for you. You can have your business soar. You can have money that flows into your life. All of this can happen when you stay in your joy. It's as easy as that. Now, if you can't get into your joy because suffering from things in the past, like I'm not good enough, or I'm a bad person, or I'm worthless, then you need to get some help to let that go. So get into that space where you are feeling amazing. And Catherine, allow the universe to work in tandem with you, because what you're doing, you love. And if you don't love that job, if you don't love this new business, and you don't love every moment of it, it's going to fail. All right. So stay in your joy and stay in your bliss and stay in positive thinking. And it's not frou-frou-la-la, we're doing nothing. It's really just staying in joy in all that you do. So when you are working things out in your business, it's going to be good. All right. That's a really big lesson for everybody. All right. And good luck. I hope that goes very well for you. All right, Monica. Can you tell me if I do have any gifts of any kind? I'm assuming, Monica, that you're talking about clairvoyant gifts. So I'm going to tap into your body and talk about yours. So the first thing they're bringing in is the your knowing. For you, it's not. You're too much in your head, and you're too much in chatter, and so they can't get through in your third eye. So you're not seeing visions. You're not seeing those kind of things. You do see colors here and there, though. So, but the thing that they're talking about with you is a sense of knowing. It's a gut feeling. That part they can get through to you because you are in your solar plexus energies, which are third dimensional energies, which means you're operating somewhat from force and from control. Okay, and so because that's there, you're going to get that feeling there. So, and they can get into your emotions. So you can intuitively feel things through a gut feeling. That is a really big gift. Now, should you be able to get out of your head? You have psychic hearing. So you are going to be able to hear, and it's really neat. If you would like some lessons on how to get out of your pineal gland, let me know. I'd be very happy to work with you because it's a practice skill. And then getting into your clairvoyance is also a practice skill. It's a skill where you learn how to tell the difference. If thought is here, I'm putting my hands up and just above it, like a centimeter above it, that's clairvoyance. So you've really got to be in tune with yourself and what that feeling feels like when you're receiving a message and when you're thinking. They're completely different, but once you learn them, it is so amazing. You'll be able to have it in a completely different language. So yes, those are some beautiful gifts. I think we also talked last time. You've got some good humor, so keep using your humor. All right, and so Zarissa, she says, "Hi Kelly, please let me know who my spirit guides are, and is there any message for me? Thanks." Okay, first of all, you have a very, very ancient guide who's with you. He looks to be really old. He looks to be as a spiritual teacher is the way he's presenting himself. I'm not sure. He's saying he's from your past life. Let me listen into who else is there. You've got lots of angels with you, that's for sure. Really beautiful. All right, so there's one that's your creative muse, and so it's really beautiful. It's showing itself mostly as color, lots of expansive color, very bright, very vibrant, very very beautiful. So they're with you with your creativity. Oh, and you have a pet. Um, I'm watching a couple of different ones though. So the one that's really coming forward is a dog. So I'm not sure if you know who the dog is. Um, Sweet though. Yep. Also some. Yeah, it looks to be in a past life like sister energy, or you guys would have been friends or sisters in a past life. But that energy is also there. So I'm going to ask them collectively to share what it is, what message they have for you, what they would like for you to know. Yes, they're talking about your worrying. They want you to really start to realize that every time you worry in your head, you're actually catapulting out of yourself. So what happens is you actually you get into kind of what I was talking about earlier about the fear pool of what's coming in the future. Yeah, there's a little anxiety that comes with that too, and then what that does is it disempowers you. And so they want you to really look at that piece of you to really move into why the worry, why the worry, why the worry, because all of that is just keeping you out of your power and it's keeping you a little stuck. So they do want to do that. They're also very much so saying how loved you are. They're talking about your heart and they're talking about your softness. And they're talking about even though you can be well, no, they really are talking about your softness. So they're talking about how beautiful and loving you can be, and they want you to know they see that. And Nicole, excited for you about my transition. Thank you very much. Let's see. Catherine says, congratulations. All right. So here's one. I'm going to have to put on some glasses for this one because it's in yellow. It's hard for me to read. So Teresa is saying, my body aches are coming back again. And there is something going on in my right breast. Can you ask my spirit guides why or what is going on? Also, can you ask them if I should continue to renew my numerous and expensive domain names since my success with them is now possible and right around the corner? All right, give me a second. You have a two-part question here. So I'm going to go first one first. Why do you have the body aches? Okay. Ooh, you're moving through some stuff. This is actually not negative. This is very positive. Your guides are explaining that you've been doing some shifting, and you've been very consciously doing some shifting. And so they want you to know that these are just our old pieces of stuff that you're starting to let go of. So they don't want you to get focused on it, because if you get focused on that pain, if you get focused, you're going to want to go to get a diagnosis, and the doctors won't be able to find anything wrong. So you're going to sit there in this pain, and you're not going to be able to understand what's going on. You're just going to waste a lot of money and a lot of time. So what they want you to do is understand that this is an energetic movement with you. So allow that shift to happen. You're not going to really know, they said, what the emotions are behind it. Just allow your body to continue to shift and let these pains move out. Let's go into the breast, though. There's something a little different in there. So let me go into okay, your right breast. Give me a second as I go in. Don't mind. I'm not really trying to fill you up. It's a psychic feel.
I'm on the line. If that's
okay.
Hi,
sweetie. Sure.
Hi. I've been taking Advil. I've been taking Advil. Is that okay?
Yes. I'm just going to kind of do a sweep. Okay, and I'm getting a clearing at the okay, if you go to the outer side on the lower part is where you're going to find this. What's there? It feels like a cyst is what it feels like a fibroid or a cyst, and that's what I'm experiencing there. And you don't want that to turn into like an infected duct or something like that. So I'm going to go in again and just see if we have anything serious that we need to worry about, because there is definitely clearing when I went in there. So I'm going to go in again. Yeah, and you're clearing again. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm going to ask about that. So when we go in there, it is physical, but it's also energetic. So obviously the energetic and the emotion always cause the physical. So what they're showing in there is that, this is you moving into more of your self-love. So the more you move in, your body is trying to release these old energies. So allow it to go. I'm going to ask if there's a time frame on this. They said the time is up to you, and it's up to you how quickly you really just start to get into that beautiful self-love. And this is moving from the work that you and I have done together in the past. This is moving you into an even higher level of self-love. You've been working on that. You've been doing beautiful, but this is moving into a bigger piece, a true acceptance of all of you, because the part that still needs to shift is stop judging yourself. Stop. And that's what they're saying. Stop judging yourself. And the more you stop judging yourself, the quicker this is going to move through. So let's look at this next part of yours. Continue to renew your numerous and okay, you're going to need to do a little going inside, because there are some of these domains you do not need. They're laughing because they said they know you know this. And so what they're saying is that you need to tap inside, because what's happening is with multiple domains like this, you're actually getting yourself unfocused. And so they want you to go inside of yourself, get into a relaxed space, use the getting in your pineal gland video or audio that I gave you, get into your pineal and really listen inside. And ask, is this right? And you're going to get a sense of knowing. You're going to get a yes or a no. And you need to really get into those feelings. And if you're struggling with it, get a pendulum, just to keep asking, because some of these are and some of these aren't. I mean, some of them are just silly, and it's keeping your energy scattered. Did that help?
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, so Nicole says, we are in the process of moving into my family home, and we experienced spirit activity when we were younger. And I'm wondering if I will experience it again. And if so, do you know who it is? Give me just a second. Well, there's something different your guys want to talk to you about, Nikki. And the spirit activity that you pick up is always, is that you unmuted? Someone's unmuted. I'm just going to mute. So hold on just a moment, everyone. I'm getting some feedback, so I need to quick mute someone. I think I found it. There it is. See if that helped. Yeah. Give me just a minute, guys. I can't hear when there are people unmuted. Okay, found it. Sherman, you need to make sure you mute your mic. All right. So here we go. They're bringing in something. I've got to tap back into them because I don't remember anymore. The spirit activity that you're experiencing is actually keeping you a little distracted, because I know that it's interesting and it's fun, but it's keeping you distracted from what you need to do as far as bringing in your own clairvoyance. They are explaining that that the spirits that were there, yeah, they're not really there. They're not the same of what's there. And if I go into your home, so give me just a moment while I just kind of traverse through your home for a second and just kind of take a peek around. No, no, that's not the same. So you're not going to get the same spirit activity, although your son is going to attract. So you need to understand that your son is going to attract in those energies of someone who almost invites in spirit. Okay, and it's not a bad thing. If you would like some private counseling on how to work with him on this, I think you're probably getting to a point where you need to. He's bringing in a lot, and he needs to understand a lot. So, so you've got some sessions already paid for. Let's use some for him, and let's, dear darling, get you scheduled. So, so yeah, that'll be good to work with him on this. So this is, let's see who this is. Can't see. Mary. Hi, Kelly. I've been thinking a lot about my mom and dad. Can you tell me if he is okay? Does she know if he is okay? Okay. Okay, so first of all, what I am getting is very big communication from your mother. It's hard for me to tell if they're deceased or alive because people feel the same deceased or alive. There is no different feeling for me. The only time I know that they're dead and communicating with me is because they're not in the room. So I'm not going to be able to tell you whether they're passed or not. But I can tell you this: your mom's energy is feeling very positive. It is feeling very open. It is feeling very light. Although she is doing some communication with me now, so she must be passed. So, so what I do want to say is that she's not the same person that she used to be. And so she's in a very happy place. Your father's energy is very undetectable right now. I'm not able to necessarily communicate with him, although she's saying she can. Sometimes that happens because, just they're distracted in some other way, or there's something that they're doing that they're just not able to do some communication right now. And that's what I'm getting. It's not a bad thing, so I don't want to worry you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. She is actually just kind of indicating, you know, they can communicate easily. You know, she can communicate in spirit very easy. So you have nothing to worry about. I just want to see if she has. Well, one thing I'm going to tell you that I don't even know what to make of is that she just keeps showing flowers. So beautiful flowers. They're multicolored. They're just gorgeous. And so I'm not sure if that means something to you, but boy, she's showing them. Absolutely lovely. Okay, Candace. Hi, Kelly. Can you tell me if my guide is a male or female and what their name is? I know they are with me, and I feel like knowing this will allow for a deeper connection with them. All righty. Yes. You, Candace. I know you. I recognize your energy. You have got, my friend, so many guides. I'm sorry. You've got an entourage. You're not traveling alone. So I'm looking, and it's so neat. It's like they're all from the same energies, and it's a very earthy energy. And when I say that, I mean understanding the beauty of nature, understanding the beauty of the animal kingdom, the respecting the waters type of energy. It's amazing. So let me kind of go into. They're not separating themselves necessarily out into any one individual. I'm just watching many of them. I'm not sure if somehow back in your past life or in your descendants, if you have some Native American, but the energy feels really strong like that. It feels like a strong community and a strong tribe. So to get names, I'm going to have you get the name. I am horrible with names. I can tell you that it always comes out as some kind of vowel sounds, and I never get the correct name. So I just kind of quit trying. But I couldn't even get mine when I was growing up, and I communicated with my guide every day. So let me get into, I got mine because my father finally told me when I found a picture of her, what her name was. So let me just go into and see if there's something they want to indicate to you about themselves. Yeah, they're definitely a tribe. They are sticking to that too. Yeah. Yeah, they're not going to give me a name. If they are, it's just too abstract for me. Let me get into seeing if there is some way that you can connect with them. They said you do all the time. You really are a connected being. You're really an old wise soul. So yeah, you're listening a lot. You think it's thought. So you need to really find that difference between thought and clairvoyance. When you're in thought, you're forming an answer. When they're talking to you, it's just there. And the other piece is you have this knowing in your being. They said that like just your being knows. It's like you have this understanding and just a knowing. And so it's them. That's them communicating. So you're doing a great job. You just don't realize it. Yeah, neat tribe. Marcia, I seem to have something on my scalp that itches and scales and takes hair with it. I'm using cold tar shampoo. What do my guides say is happening, and how can I correct this? Thank you so very much. Love you, and I'm very happy for you. Thank you, Marcia. So let me go into that little spot on your head. So give me just a second. Let's see what's going on. You. Yeah, so they're talking. There's this understanding that we need to bring energy in through the crown, but to ground it, and that's the way that we become a healthy being. Is that we are connected with Source, but we're grounding it because we love this existence we're in. You're not grounding. Your energy on your crown is it's overworking. It's unhealthy. You're too connected. When I say here, too connected without being grounded. You can be very connected to Source and to your ex-husband, or sorry, your husband. He's still your husband. You could be very connected to James in the spirit world while still being able to bring the energy down through your core and ground into the earth. So as you're resisting living in this earth, you're creating this imbalance on the crown of your head. So now it is physical. So let's look and see if there's something that you could be using on there. Have you tried hemp oil? Hemp oil is going to help that physically. The tar is what they're showing is it's way too rough on you. So yeah, that's kind of it's actually making it a little worse. It may calm some itching, but it's really important that that you use something a little less toxic to you. Okay. All right, so this is Marike. Hi, sweetie. And I've got the yellow writing, so I've got to put my glasses on again. Hi, I have recently changed my health habits for the better, and I'm seeing great results and feeling so much better. But I've noticed that most of the groups I hang out with drink at all the gatherings and eat crap food. I know that story. It's been hard for me not to be angry at them for this. It's made me not want to be social, and I don't think it's a healthy choice, though. How can I change this feeling? Oh, I'm so glad you asked this. You are talking years of my life when I started to realize I had food intolerances or foods that my body wouldn't tolerate. Not intolerance, it's just it wouldn't tolerate because my body wanted to be in a healthy state. And so when I was a kid, I would come home from school and eat heads of lettuce and whole cucumbers, and my sisters thought I was the weirdest thing on the planet. But this has been who I am. And it makes people around us uncomfortable. And there was a phase in my life when I was 21 where I decided I was going to eat so healthy. I learned how to make everything on my own. And I did criticize people who were eating unhealthy. But one of the things to realize is that everybody has their own journey. Everyone. And you cannot ask one person to be somewhere on their journey that they're not. Because them being into unhealthy eating habits is a result, not because they're not thinking, not because they're stupid and don't realize that preservatives aren't good for you. What's happening with them is that what you eat is a direct, and I mean direct, result of how you feel inside. So for them to change their eating habits, they'd have to go through something like you did, internal shifting. You didn't have the desire before because you hadn't shifted. When you raise your vibration, your body wants only to have healthy foods. It's what happens. And so you can't say, hey, I need for you to transition in your being so that you can eat healthy. Or I need you not to have alcoholic beverages because I don't. They have a right, an absolute right to get into the space within them when it's right for them. The other thing is to keep in mind that we go from baby to infant to young to mature to old soul. And baby and infant souls do usually eat pretty unhealthy. All right. Actually, a lot of the young souls do as well. And so what's happening there is that you can't ask them to be in an older soul body that knows just intuitively that you should put healthy things in it. It's kind of like looking at a 2-year-old in our society and saying, hey, I'm going to need you to grow up and get married. Can you do that, please? I need you to just be on your own right now. I can't. Yeah, you need to do that because I'm on my own. Can you be on your own? And of course, we would never do that to a 2-year-old. Well, we can't do that to a soul either. We have to let them get to their space on their own. This is such a beautiful question for you to ask. I'm so glad that you did. And I hope that I'm saying it in a delicate way that makes sense. That looking around at them eating unhealthy foods is just you acknowledging that they're at their own place in their journey. And you can, instead of looking at the negative, get into your joy, get into that joy that can manifest more weight loss and more beautiful foods and more transitioning for you, that says, I can't be where they are and I don't really like it for me, but I can't judge it because that's where they're at. I hope that helped, beautiful soul. All right, Sherman. How do I have lucid dreams, and how do I contact and recognize spirit guides? Well, the whole thing, Sherman, I'm going to tell you something that I've picked up on you before, and I'm going to share that with you again, which is sometimes when you are tapping into spirit, you're keeping it in your head. You're keeping it in more of a fantasy land with them, and more, interested in getting into dreaming and the experience of things as opposed to really getting into you. So your goal to be able to get into more lucid dreaming, if that's what you should want, or get into speaking with your guides more, is to get inside of you more, because you stay very cerebral with it. You stay up here with it, and you stay waiting for things to appear in your third eye. But we all know, who are clairvoyant, that you don't listen with just your third eye. You listen with your heart, and you listen with your knowing spot just below your rib cage. And to be able to access those, that means that you are looking inside of you for all the answers, not externally in a lucid dream, not externally from your guides. Look inside you first. Get a relationship with you. Understand who you are, what makes you tick, what you're holding, what you need to let go of. And when you build that relationship, then you're going to be in a space where you're going to start to do these things a little more easily. Okay. And let's see. Another question from Teresa. Try When by Chaz Dean. Yeah, I've tried that actually. And I think she must be talking about Marcia. Marcia When is a really great shampoo. It's one that doesn't foam up when you use it. It's actually really nice. It keeps a lot of your natural oils in your hair. And I can see why that would be helpful. I'm going to actually see if there's any callers who would like to unmute themselves and ask a question. So remember, you hit *6 on your phone, and then you can join us. So let's take just a pause. Well, we've got a whole bunch of you on the calls, but I know that some people last time were having a hard time getting through. Yeah, and I can't look at my phone. I'm actually periscoping right now. So if I move my phone to receive a text on your question, I won't be able to see it. So although no, that's not true. I'll be able to see it on my computer. If you are on your phone and you wanted to put a question in and I'm not hearing you for some reason, go ahead and send me a text to 920-410-6155. And I'll say that again. 920-410-6155. All right. And while I'm waiting to see if there's anyone online or on the phone who would like to unmute and ask a question, I will move into another question on our board here. So let's see, Nicole is asking, what do my guides say about the move we're making? Is it a good thing for us? Very, very good, actually. I have to tell you, the energy behind you doing that was fabulous. Yeah, there's a cohesiveness that's going to happen with you, and it's kind of a starting over that's going to happen with you. That's really positive. Definitely do some smudging of the home. Make it yours. There's something, okay. There's something that's going to come up. I think it's your family home. Is what it's feeling like, but whoever family home this is, you're going to get some stuff coming up. So it's about allowing yourself to let that stuff come up so that you can move through. Yeah, nice move. All right, let me see this one. I can't see very well. Catherine says, I'm going on a cruise in October. Will my dad stay around until I get back? He's 92 and getting very weak. Give me just a minute. I'm just going to tap into you and tap into him. Ooh, he's stubborn. Okay, well, I'm not sure where your how far out your cruise is. I want to share a little bit about what I'm picking up. First of all, your guides want you to understand, and this is really important, that you can't die. You just can't. And that's why when I feel souls, if I don't know whether they're alive or dead, or if they're trying to communicate with me, I don't know, because they all feel the same. You don't feel any different to me after you pass than you did when you were alive. So if I'm going to tap into you alive, it's just as beautiful. It's just a transition into being with a body or without a body. We just incarnate with this body so that we can experience heartache, loss, and pain, and grief, and all this stuff, so that we can actually grow. We can experience the physical, which is amazing. So your father he is getting weak. I'm definitely telling you, he's in some stages of transition, but he is so stubborn internally that if you communicate with him before you go that please hold on until I get back, he's going to be so stubborn he will. It's really strange. But your guides are saying, wouldn't it be better if you just allowed him to gave him the freedom to, whenever you're ready, I love you and I accept your passing because I know you can't die. It might be a better way of looking at it. Much love to you in this transition. I know they can be very hard. All right. So let's see. Okay, so Candace has a question. I think I missed one in here. I'll have to go back. Candace, thank you for your answer on the previous question. I feel like my son Hudson has gifts. Is that accurate? Let me tap into Hudson. Yes, but he won't admit that, and that's an interesting thing. It's such a natural part of him that he's not like into looking for it. So it's like he's got a really complex personality. Very loving, very sweet, but he can also be on the intellectual side that way. He can also be in the humorous side, but then he can be really dry. He's really funny. I'm seeing just like a multidimensional him. Yeah, because it's like for him, it's a natural way of being. And he thinks that this is his intelligence, or he thinks this is just him thinking, but it's not. He's actually receiving good communication. He's also a little empathic. I will definitely tell you that much. Yeah, in his sense of knowing, his gut instinct is really, really strong. Yeah, absolutely. He's still in some growing stages, though, so he's going to continue to grow and develop with this. He's certainly not set in, it's not set and dry the way that he is with his guides. It's just where he's at this moment. Okay, and let me see if I got any text coming through. Just opening up. See if any of the callers wanted to text something, because clearly I cannot hear you. Yeah, I can't even see anything. Okay, so it looks like we have okay, so Sherman is asking a follow-up question, and he is saying, how do I get my head out of the way? It is about learning to be in your pineal gland. Everyone, I'm going to give you a little lesson on this because this is really important. We've got two glands in our head, and if you're my client, you already know about this, and I'm sure you're going to be like, oh, I've heard this a million times, but it's a good reminder. So the pituitary gland, which is behind the bridge of behind the bridge of the nose. Give me just a second. There we go. The pituitary gland, which is right behind the bridge of the nose, is responsible for releasing cortisol, the stress hormone, and adrenaline hormone, amongst other hormones, but those are two that we don't really want floating around in our body too much, okay? And so when you are in chatter and you're in analytical thinking and you're in fantasy, creating a fantasy and creating, dream world and, always thinking about things and all of that, you're not in your pineal. Okay, so you're constantly releasing from this gland. In your pineal, which is in the center of your head, your pineal releases releases melatonin so you can sleep, and melatonin so that you can meditate. It also releases endorphins so that when it's in combination with the pituitary gland, so that you can have a good body buzz, and serotonin so you can have a good mood elevator. It also releases dimethyltryptamine, which will allow you to activate portions of your brain that can translate the vibrations coming into your pineal, which is clairvoyance, which is psychicness. So the way to get into that pineal is training yourself to be out of thought. And some people train themselves to be out of thought by walking or rollerblading or skiing or doing something where they're doing some methodic pounding of the pavements or, running or whatever it might be. Other people sit quietly. And it depends on what type you are. Kinesthetic, if you need to move, or some people do Om because they're very auditory, so they hear a noise or they listen to music. Other people just like to be quiet. And so it's about stilling the mind. How are you going to still the mind? And so, Sherman, the whole way of getting out of your head is to practice being in a space where you're not thinking. There's so much parts of the day where I am just out of thought. I'm just observing. Learn to observe. Learn to not expect. Learn to just see what's there and be present in life. Learn to listen inside of your body and practice doing things like, how do I feel right now? What are the deep feelings going on inside of my body? And just listen. Still the mind and listen. And those kind of practices are going to help you to get out of the chatter. Okay, but know that quieting your mind isn't just sitting and doing Om, holding your fingers and doing Om. It has everything to do with being able to it has everything to do with being able to really just quiet your mind, even if it's for 5 seconds. So if you need to move, move. If you need to listen to music, do music. If you need to say Om, say Om. Okay, and there are no rules to meditating. There just are none. Okay. Let's see if we have any other questions. I think we're going to end early tonight. Or maybe I can take some time and impart a little more wisdom if somebody would like to know or give me a topic. Teresa, thank you. Can you tell me who my spirit guides are? Oh, we've talked about them before. Yeah, first of all, there are, and remember that your spirit guides will shift based on what you're working on. So when I'm working with people, sometimes there are guides who show up and what I'm seeing with you is a couple. So it's a really beautiful couple. So I am seeing them, but there's also, like when you're working on your creativity, there's a muse guide who will show up. When you're working in finance, there's a financial guide who will show up. When you're in your beautiful animal spirit place, where you love animals and you're just playing with your beautiful animal, there's another guide that shows up. So you've got many, and this is most people do, who come in and out based on what's going on with you. Does that make sense? And I think I hear a caller unmuted. Did you have a question, caller?
Is that me?
Yes, please.
Hi, Kelly. This is Katie.
Hi, Katie.
Hi, sweetie. I have a dream, an interesting dream, and it used to be that I would feel terrified to call out. I felt afraid to call out, so I stayed mute. And the other night, I've been watching the U.S. Open, so I don't own a television, so it for me it was unusual to be watching something like that. I kept noticing. I have to do this as a precursor, but I kept noticing how strong the people's thighs were in playing tennis. And then I had this dream where everything was going fine. Then I'm walking along, and I make a left turn, and suddenly my ankles, above my ankles, below my calves, I'm clamped by two very strong hands. I can feel that it's from the right. I can feel the placement of the hands, and not to lose because it's so sudden, not to lose my balance, I fall into the person and I touch it's a man, and I touch his thighs. And in the dream, I'm terrified. And I'm aware that the thighs are very strong and there's something very kind about them, but I'm still so terrified. So I let out this war whoop of help, and I think that I said it out loud because I'm at a place where I'm with a friend and her two dogs next door. So then I start laughing to myself lucidly because I said I must not have yelled out loud because nobody's coming. And then when I realized the dream and the direction of where I was going, I realized that it could have been the masculine side of me saying, step into your power. But I'm wondering, what I'm asking you about, Kelly, is when you have a dream that's that strong, one of those jolters, is it, rather than being Jungian or, is it your inner knowing giving you a major message like, look at this. This is no big deal.
Yeah, let me recap for those who are on Periscope so that they understand what just happened. So the caller actually just explained a dream that she had where she had somebody was holding onto her ankle. Basically, I'm very much so paraphrasing this. Was holding onto her ankle and she fell forward into these very strong thighs, and so she was asking about what this dream was, and there are two parts to her question. First of all, your guides are communicating with you through this dream, and it is a place where you're actually open to receiving. That's what dreams do. Dreams allow you to take all of your information that you need to process as a being, and they give you little symbols with it, that you create characters and you create scenarios that help you process it in a way that your body can process it. And so so that's why we have all these symbols. What they're explaining is is in this dream for you is that you're being held back, and you're being held back from stepping into your absolute power. And they know that in what your body already told you is that your power is not to be feared. Your power is in your softness. Your power is in your gentleness. Okay, but it is very much so power. But they're asking you to identify, and it's a being, it's a person. So they want you to look at the person in your life who is holding you back. And it's not that they're doing anything to you. It's not that at all. It's how you think about that person. That person is keeping you from your power, and it's not them doing it, it's you. So that's what the message that they
perfect.
Okay. Wonderful.
Thank
I'll see you soon, my dear.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Monica says, could you tell me if my son, who suffered with drug addiction for many years, might finally be on the right path after going to a good rehab and getting straight for the past couple of months? Okay, let me tap into him. Forgive me just a second. He's got some issues he has got to work out. And actually, one of the things about rehab is it's wonderful because it helps you to get sober. But if you're not in the right place where they are addressing the core issue as to why they got in that place in the first place, they're going to struggle. What he's suffering from is some pretty severe self-esteem issue. Okay, he's actually in a place of self-loathing. And so because he's in that place, he's actually going to continue. This is going to be a reoccurring problem for him if he doesn't look at the core. So let me get into him a little bit more. Yeah, he's got that whole I'm not good enough. This is a massive struggle for him. He's also got some of your stuff. He's carrying some of your things. So not that you did anything to him. I want to make that very clear. But sometimes when kids see their parents struggle, they take things on and they don't even realize it. For him, it would have been about 3-4 years old. So it's about understanding that can occur. Okay. So once again, what I'm watching is that this will be a reoccurring pattern if he doesn't get to the core. Okay, Kathy would like me to talk about our pets and what happens when they pass. Yes, she said, I've had animals show up and choose me, which yes, they do. My last baby passed away in May, and you were so heartbroken. She was so heartbroken. She was definitely my angel. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So one of the things I want to share about pets is, yes, your pets find you again. It is amazing. When I had a very, very, very reputable international pet psychic, actually, and I'm sorry, give me just a minute. I'm going to have to mute someone. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay, found them. All right. So what happens, and let me get back into this. Oh, so when I went to this reputable pet psychic who read my cat Cameron, she nailed him on his personality. The cat, my cat was like, "Yeah, what? What? So we're gonna talk here?" And she said to him, "Well, I recognize her. I recognize how far she has come on her journey, and I want her to know that." And he said, "But don't worry about when I'm not around, because I'm going to come back into your life. I've been in your lifetime time after time after time, and I'm going to come back in again." And in this lifetime, he's still alive and not with me because he had to go do a healing for someone else. We both became healers, and I'm going to join up with him again. And he was actually my cat Jake in a previous life. So I want to explain pet souls, which is really interesting. There are phases that our souls go through where we need to incarnate as animals, but there are particular animals that are really unusual. They tend to be spirits that are with us as we develop as a soul. It's almost like, talk about a twin flame. They are that person. One client that I have, Pamela, her beautiful horse has such a connection to her. They have known each other in so many lifetimes. They actually took me back to Roman days when they were together as horse and rider, and so it's this connection that just never stops. When they pass, so often I see animals around people, and they just stay with them, and they love them so much they want to stay with them until the owner says, "I want that one back again. I want that one back again." And sometimes they'll incarnate as a dog, sometimes they'll incarnate as a cat. My dog had a ferret who reincarnated as a cat. So the animals don't have to be cat, 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 or dog, dog, dog. They can actually change, but they do come back into your life. I'm going to tell you something else about animal spirits. They also have levels of development. Some are very baby and infant souls, and some are very wise old souls. So you're going to get baby to infant to young to mature to old in animals just like you do in people. And I could feel it just as clearly, and they clear the same, and they go through anger and frustration. Some are very simplistic, and so you don't notice it very much because they're just happy all the time because they're baby souls. But some who are a little more complex they do get pissed off at you, and they can be pretty funny. So just wanted to share that little bit with you. Any questions about your pets, or is there anyone else who has a question? Oh, it looks like we're getting to the end of the show. Here's one last one. Our yellow lab had a seizure a month or so ago and just seems a little off since. Wondering if I should be taking him in. Okay, give me just a second. Yeah, unfortunately, I am seeing a little bit of damage in there. And I would like to tell you something different, but what you're going to notice is kind of a spaciness with him and a little distractedness with him. He did have a little bit of brain damage, and it's okay. Yeah, one of the things that you're going to have to understand about your animal is that for them to detect what actually happened, it would be a very expensive procedure for that to happen. What I'm looking at is that some of the brain dysfunction that happened can be rejuvenated. I know that they say no, but that's such a lie. I watch it in people all the time and animals all the time. So you, my dear, who does Reiki, do Reiki on your animal. Do a lot of Reiki on him. Let him get back and heal. And should this be an ongoing problem for him, then you're just going to have to allow him to pass into whatever it is that he needs to pass into. And what I mean is, if he needs to pass away, you need to let him. All right. So, so this is all very divine. This isn't that you didn't take care of him. It isn't that you should be trying to save, 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 save. It's just not the case with this animal. And I need you to understand that. So if you need to call me personally, please do that. Okay. Because this is a tough one and I apologize. And we have 1 minute, so I'm going to answer Nicole's. And she's saying, can you tell me why I'm sorry, not Nicole. I'm going to, Teresa is asking, can you tell me why I'm not focused at work lately? Because you're not listening. There's a truth you've been trying to tell yourself for a while, and you're not listening to it. Your guides are saying, look around in your life and ask yourself the question, what is not working for me? Where am I finding constant resistance? Where and what is making me not feel good? And you're going to find the answers to what they've been trying to communicate with you. Okay. I'm sorry about that. That's a tough one. Yeah, that's a tough one. But they want you to listen. You're welcome. It's 7 o'clock. Let's see if I can answer this really quick. She sometimes figures one leg. I'm taking a break. She has it now. She's still trying. Okay, Marike, same thing. Your dog needs some Reiki. I'm going to give you the name of a really good pet worker. Her name is Susan Schultz, Schultz. If you need her contact information, if you're interested in having her work with your pet, because she really could do some great work with your pet, just text me, and I will give you her number and contact. Okay. All right, everyone, thank you so much. If you are interested in, I know that there's some people on Periscope. If any of you are interested in registering for our show to be on the show or to be here with us Wednesday night at 6 Pacific time, you can email me. My email address is Kelly, Kelly, Monarch, Monarch, 11 @gmail.com. And to all of you who are here throughout the night, I appreciate you, love you, and look forward to next Wednesday. Have a great night.